Welcome back to the Real A Podcast. This is a very, very special episode and very, very important episode that I'm going to be getting into because this podcast shows who I am and how I change, who I am from when I began to where I'm ending up. The content on this podcast will not be consistent because it shows the story of where I was to where I'm going. It shows how I evolve in the real me, the real, the authentic me version of who I am, with how I grow, with what I experience, with what wisdom and realizations and insights I come to. And then I share these things here. And the wisdom that I came to understand, and this is from the book Astrology for the Soul by Jan Spiller, which is the book on the nodes. And I really, really should read up on the Taurus North Node, Scorpio South Node again because it is a placement that I have in my chart, and I am incredibly proud to have this placement in my chart because I just love Taurus energy so much. It is so grounding, so stable, so much about your values, so much about comfort, so much about earthy stability, really, really living life in the light. In accordance to to what you value, to what you enjoy. And I just think it's written very, very well. Um, a lot of practical wisdom to help shift you out of your South Node shadows and help you to heal that South Node by moving toward the North Node. We're not just discarding the South Node. We have to, acknowledge what we need to release and let go, to balance out these particular nodes. It takes, we can't just bypass the shadows. We have to look at these shadows and release them in order to get to the North Node. We can't just do our North Node. We have to, work through the shadows and consciously release, and then also develop the attributes of the North Node. So, with this particular placement, I have a whole video about this and a whole video on my both videos are actually on this channel. The video I did a long time ago when I was in a very, very different place on my original channel, my first channel, of which I'm thinking to myself, why on earth did I scrap that channel and start this one? Well, there were reasons. Uploading issues, my computer wasn't working properly. There's a bunch of different things. I uploaded a really, really inappropriate and graphic video on there for reasons I don't know why I did that. And promotions. Didn't know what the heck I was getting myself into, so I just kind of sabotaged that, and so, I just felt that it was right to start anew, and so, for the first 6 months, 7 months of 2024, I was, not posting videos, and then I came back in August on a brand new channel, and, I posted again, so, um, but so I filmed that video, and I had my nodal return, which I want to do a podcast on the nodal return, the reverse nodal return sometime. I will plan on getting to that. It's a video that I want to do, a podcast that I want to do, but it's a marathon, not a sprint, so I won't rush that. Um, but during my nodal return, I actually have another video that I did, which is on this channel. So it's on this channel. I did a video back in 2023. So if you want to check that out, you can. But I will be doing another podcast episode for that later on. But at least I have the video that I filmed. At least I have the track record, the evidence, the documentation of the fact that I did do that video. And I did do the Taurus North Node video. So when I had my nodal return back in 2023, January 2nd, 2023 was when it was exact. And basically January 18th, 2022 to July 17th of 2023. I was in a very, very dark place because OCD was developing. I was very, very obsessive compulsive. I was washing my hands until my hands got so dry and so cracked, and sometimes they even bled. I had my, really, really graphic and unpleasant detail that I don't feel that it is appropriate to reveal on this podcast. That was an issue that I was something that I was very obsessed with compulsively, that I was dealing with and grappling with at that time, um, with OCD. Um, that's what I was dealing with, and of course, my regrets of all the videos I, binge watched, all the channels that I abused, of all the videos I deleted, all that kind of combined. So if I just had the OCD going on, that was no issue. Then, then, the then, well, then, and if I didn't have the guilt for the deleting of the videos and the with um uh uh channel surfing, um, then it would have been an easier time. But it was a very, very different place. I was very, very into myself that I wasn't, I was kind of in my north node, but now I'm really, really, dissolving my own barriers and my own shadows and moving into my north node. And I aspire to live from that place. I am 22 years old before I even get into all the whole deals of the world before I get into all those, buying a house, getting a proper, career place, all those things that we, as adults, they go through all those, all that work, all of that, time and energy to do all these things in their own life, and then they gain wisdom from that. I already have, wisdom and secular plans that I'm saying now at age 22 that I'm going to be living my life in this way. And I'm very, very wise, very self-aware, and I have a lot of integrity within me to live that kind of life that is true to my values. And that's essentially what the Taurus North Node is. Um, and so one of the tendencies to leave behind with the Scorpio South Node is over concern with other people's business. That's what Jen Spiller wrote. And, when I was in school, I saw, children at lunch eating fruit roll-ups. I wanted to do that. I saw children at lunch eating, um, you, you know, uh, uh, orange colored Oreo cookies or carrots and celery and ranch, and I wanted that, or eating a certain thing, or not even eating but doing certain things, that I wanted to copy that because it was very, very based around others. So though I didn't feel like it's my first go around in my Taurus North Node, I feel like it's my maybe my second or third or fourth, go around, I don't know. But point being is that I wanted to copy them, and I just love drama. Love to get involved in drama, love to observe drama, people fighting, people screaming, um children in classes misbehaving. Like, I'm gonna tell you, like, I was so into children, students at school, when they misbehaved, when teachers were irritated at them. And I actually, when kids misbehaved to me, I was assertive and all of that, but I just loved it when teachers got mad and when there was all this drama going on. And I was into it. I wanted more and more and more and more and more of it. And when I was in high school, like when, certain students had, issues with how they acted, you know, and they were getting, the teacher was, yelling at them or screaming or getting mad at them. I wanted to be in on it. I wanted to hear that. When I was in high school, I know the teacher really, really got on this one student who had Taurus North Node, Taurus Lilith. I feel like he was really, really pushed back down in the South Node. And I'm telling this person that was treated very, very negatively. You are worthy to live the life according to your values, and do not let anyone keep you from living the life that you feel a good sense of solid self-worth living. Don't let anyone keep hold you back from that in your life. So, you know, believing that you and everyone else are worthy, that you're not, below anyone else. You're not exempt from being worthy this lifetime. And so the Taurus North Node is, being willing to lean into the energy of self-worth and knowing your values. So, when this teacher was really, really mad at the student, I I got really like really, really interested. Like I wanted more and more and more and more of it. And I was so obsessed with that whole thing. And, I remember one of the very, very first times this tendency got looked at was when I was in ICC, when I was in daycare, childcare, and a teacher was getting mad and like seemed it appeared to me like they were getting mad. I just want to know what was going on, what was going on. And then I remember the teachers that it was summer school basically. Oh my gosh, what I have to say about summer school. Like leave summer, summer is meant to be a time of leisure, a time of relaxation, time to relax, do what you want to do, not a time for school and learning. Okay, like let's separate that out. It's that time of the year where you're outside, you're playing, you're winding down, that's so don't tamper with summer. But anyway, that was that. But it seemed like she was getting mad, and the teacher was like, I asked what was going on. She said, I am not going to tell you because it's none of your business. And I was like, okay. And I was disappointed, but okay, I didn't say anything back because I was the goody kid in school. I didn't misbehave at all, really. I was more mature than a lot of kids growing up in school. Um, in school. I wasn't my teacher's favorite, but I was really, really in teachers' good graces. I was really liked by teachers, and I have Jupiter and Virgo, so I know how to be efficient, pay attention to details. I have a very good work ethic, and I can really, really get down to it and get the job done. Um, that is the Jupiter and Virgo in me. And so that's the first time, but it's like those kind of things. And political arguments. Political arguments that my family have. I cannot tell you, like part of me like loves, loves, loves drama and like Dance Moms. I was drawn to the show Dance Moms because think of the drama in Dance Moms and Kitchen Nightmares and all those shows because of the drama in those shows. Like the whole thing about Scorpio is the dark sides of humanity, getting into people's psychology, acting emotionally, acting erratically, when things go wrong, when things go off, people being dramatic, people being angry, people being jealous and getting back at somebody. Like all these Scorpio things that are ego stuff, like that is what I was into at the time. And I still, go back, today, where um, like if I was on Owning Authenticity, in the channel where she was talking about people with their nodes, this is probably what I would tell her about my Scorpio Saturn tendency if she brought the question up, which I plan to do that with people, subscribers on my channel when I get enough of a following have a conversation with them about their own North Node placement. I think that's a great idea, and I want to carry that on. I want to build on the foundation that she laid. Um, so anyway, um, like I just love anger, and drama, and I just want to recreate those negative situations in my life. I have another videos, podcast, another video in this podcast like Scorpio Sun, attraction to drama. Like I'm drawn to dramatic situations and dance moms. There's a lot of drama in dance moms. And you know what? Not only am I losing interest in that, but I do not need to be drained and pulled down by that drama. I am choosing to draw healthy boundaries to that and saying that is not my lifetime, that is not my North Node, that is not what feels right for me in my lifetime to lean towards. And recently, the last podcast episode, this is kind of an amendment to the last podcast episode and the new moon and Leo in the natal birth chart, which I did on my Cosmic Star podcast last night, which I highly check out. You see, because I think that I tied it together really, really well. I just want to make this video because I just feel so strongly, and this is like a separate add-on to that episode of that podcast. But I was really, really into, others' business. And, it's like when those channels that, have memberships or show off their plaques, the play buttons, which I don't like, or, whatever they do that I don't like, I am constantly in others, like I'm constantly have the tendency to get others' business. And I'm looking at myself going, you don't need to get in others' business. You are too knowledgeable, too wise, too mature in your own right, too sovereign, too authentic to get involved in other people's business. So myself, my higher self, a critic part of me saying, "What are you doing, getting involved in other people's business? Stop, stop." So I just and I'm not going to tolerate when anyone else gets in my business because I have learned and I have come to some wisdom with the Taurus North Node is, wisdom and enlightenment that you get. Like the Taurus North Node is how you grow wisdom in this lifetime. And so I have learned to just let everybody else do what they're going to do because people are going to do whatever they're going to do. Don't give in to the jealousy. Don't give in to the anger. Don't give in to all that. And just focus on your own, you know what. Focus on your own life, what you want to do. And that is the anchor point. Like, I was saying, like, and I just have to laugh at myself because I was feeling the way that I was feeling. But I don't want to be a dictator to any one channel telling them what they can and cannot do. I just said, I don't understand why you're having a membership for your channel. Um, and there was someone else who was a member, well, quite obviously, and he was like, well, she's free to do what she wants to do, and and um, you know, all that kind of thing. Basically, I just want to separate out that part of what um, you know, he said, and I responded in the way that I did on yesterday's video, and I still stand by what I said because of the place that I was in. I will never not respect the place that I was in previously. And I don't think that it was right to tell me what he did, but it also wasn't right for me on a soul level to yet again get involved back into other people's business and what they want to do. So I will not comment on videos because I don't want to get into other people's business. If I have something to say, if I have something to express, I will do it on this channel to my family, to my friends, to my whoever, on this channel, to my people, to my audience, to the people that respect me, see my value, really, really like what I have to say, my subscribers, my, what, my people, I will say all that and be myself to my people across the world, on the internet, and more importantly, in my own personal life, my own business, expressing my authentic self, whatever I want to say, whatever I feel is right to say and put out into the world and express, doing it in my own way, minding my own business. That's one of the Taurus Northern lessons is respecting others' privacy, not merging into others, like Scorpio is like sex. It wants to, merge. Like Scorpio and sex go hand in hand. Like they want to merge together, they want to exchange energy, and they want to merge two powers. Like Taurus is about like, no, building a life with your own two hands, building a life entirely on your own, self-sufficiency, being steadfast, being, being so secure within yourself that you're not giving back into, like where Scorpio can be really, really insecure. And Taurus is like, be secure in yourself and, go in the direction of what gives you a sense of self-worth, what makes you feel strong and in your power and authentic, and not giving into other people's stuff because who cares about what anybody else does? Who cares what anybody else is up to, what everybody else is doing? Like, don't get involved in that. Focus on your own life and what you want to build, what you value, all those kind of things. I don't want somebody telling me, "Oh, you're so focused on your own life. Why do you get outside yourself? Why do you get into, other stuff?" Like, no, I don't want to do that. So, I will be aware of when I'm overindulging in self and overindulging in watching myself, and I will do what I feel is intuitively right to do from a place of wisdom and awareness. But if I happen to just watch myself continuously and feeling good about what I'm watching and feeling good about myself, feeling secure about myself, feeling a good sense of self-worth, um, about myself and what I have uh talked discussed in my videos and what I have explained and my personality and my ways of being, then then I will let myself indulge. I will let myself listen to myself, feeling good about myself. And I feel like this moon and Leo, this progressed moon and Leo that I'm in right now is really helping me to feel good about myself. And I'm not going to give in to the Leo temptation of wanting validation, wanting attention, wanting, being, egocentric. No. I'm going to express it from my heart. And I'm going to do all this. I'm not going to be self-conscious about it. I'm going to express it from a heart-centered place. I'm going to be fully open and allowed to be myself. Like, I think that, my dad, for instance, is kind of, on the more self-conscious side and the shyer side, and I want to not be very self-conscious in my own life. I don't want to be that self-conscious. I want to be, I don't want to be just, like, Donald Trump, for instance, who's, just a complete narcissist. But, I want to be grounded and secure and willing to put myself out there, but, in a calm, grounded, force-like way. And I have, it's in the fifth house, so creativity, ex creative self-expression. Like that is my north node also. So I am doing the creativity and self-expression that is in alignment with what I value, my own creativity, not creativity that others want me to do, not creativity that others want, like being in a band or whatever. Like, I'm not here to be in the band. I'm here to be my own solo artist or singer or painter or video producer or chef, or like I'm here to be solo. Not to say that I can't just, that I can't have help if I need it, because I know myself, I also have a Libra moon. I need relationship. I need those to sort of help me in my own life with certain things. And I need to feel a sense of togetherness, a sense of balance, and I will respect my lunar needs with my moon in Libra. Um, but I will, if it takes away from my own sense of self-worth, if I'm people pleasing, if I'm doing all this, then that's where I say, full stop, not gonna give into this anymore. So I am done giving in to the tendency, and I'm gonna be very, very self-aware, like, say, like, okay, because I will probably give in to these tendencies. Like you can't expect yourself to just abandon all these Saturn tendencies. Like you're probably going to give into them again, but you can be very, very self-aware to not, astrology and self-awareness go hand in hand. Where you're aware of how you check, how you communicate, what your values are, what your shadows are. Like astrology. I use self-astrology as a tool for authenticity, spirituality, and self-awareness. That's how I want to use astrology. I don't want to make it too complicated for me of what this planet's doing here. What's this, I may look at that, because who knows, like timing and all those kind of things like that. But, I don't want astrology to dictate my life, but I want it to add meaning and enrich and give insight and empower me in my life. It's like, don't just be burdened to the stars. with saying, "Oh, it's the right time to do this, so live your life according to this." Like that's very, very dictatorial. Yeah, instead, your natal chart is your piece of music, and you have the freedom and autonomy with how you're going to play the piece of music. You can either play it like a you know, you're taking, spoons and hitting your kitchen counter, or at the best level, the most higher evolved level, you are playing in the New York Philharmonic, London Philharmonic. And so, this is all what Pam Gregory said. So I'm referencing her here. I mean, there's certain things that are out of our control, but I just think, astrology that I had a song like "Falling in Love with Your Fate." Like that's so, I want to speak to that because, it's like making light of what you can't control. Like saying, "I have no power, I have no control. It's all up to the universe, and I'm powerless, and I'm surrendering. I'm a weak being. I'm a victim." Like you're not. You're not. You have power. You can't control you can't control what cards you were dealt with in this life, but you can choose. You have the freedom and autonomy to choose how you're gonna, respond and to the cards that you were dealt with, to the chart that you were dealt with. Like, here's what you were given. What are you gonna do with it? Okay. So, you're not powerless in this life. So I completely disagree with that. So, um, um, So, astrology is really into that tool, and I know, this, and I'm probably going to give into these, negative tendencies, at times that I will be very, very self-aware to when I am giving into being overly concerned with other people's business. You know, Understanding that they can shine in their own light, they can be in their own right, and I can shine in mine. I can perfectly, beautifully express my own creativity, my own joy, and not have to control others and tell others what to do and how to live their lives. That is a huge part of what it means to be truly authentic, is to also allow others to be their authentic self and not control others. That's also what it means. That's also what it means. So I've come to that understanding. So, I am, I, when that North Node hits Scorpio, I will not be in situations where there is drama. If I am, then I'm going to get myself right out of there because I'm not meant to be leaning towards that. Like, I will probably be leaning towards the opposite of what that Scorpio North Node entails. Like, I'm done with the dramatic situations. I'm done with getting involved in other people's business. I'm done with the psychological motivations of others. Like, I'm done with all the complex, stuff. And all the power have my power taken away from me. Like all that Scorpio stuff. Like, I'm done with it. I'm done. Like I want to move into something more stable, peaceful, and grounded. And I am embracing my North Node. In fact, I should make my, background my North Node in Taurus because I just feel so incredibly proud of this placement in my chart. And my Sun in Aries is like, be yourself, be authentic, assert yourself in your own life, focus on your own life. Like those two placements combined, like I am an Aries Sun Taurus North Node. And those placements are both about the self very, very strongly. And, the moon in Libra is harmonious. It does deal with, relationships, and harmony. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with, creating harmony in your life as long as it's coming from a true, authentic place and you're genuinely wanting to create harmony from a place of love. And like, there's nothing wrong with wanting to serve and wanting to be, heartfelt and wanting to give from your heart and all that. But, you don't have to be a martyr or do it trying to keep this one happy, trying to keep that one happy. Um, you know, trying to manipulate others, trying to do all that. Like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. And, I look at myself going, I'm saying to myself, what business is it of yours to do this? Who are you to do this? How come you're still doing this? How come you are making all these videos and producing all this content and yet you're giving into others' business. Like I find comments so get misconstrued and misinterpreted because it's like um you're not talking to the person, you're not the person not hearing you, not seeing you. And so I don't want to be someone who comments in those kind of ways because it's could you feel like a bot commenting. I feel like, they personal, like are they real people or is it just writing computerized people? So I will respond back to comments and I encourage your comments, but I will say that I will not comment under videos. I will instead express what I want to hear. I'll probably not, name the people exactly because I know it's right. But if I have something that I want to say, I will express it here in my own way, in my own videos, in the way that I genuinely want to express it, because I find that video making is, more expressive than writing and doing it in the way that I want to do it, in the way that I want to do it to the people that are right for me, that see my value. And so that's what I want to do. Yes, other people can see it, but it's my channel. It's my content. I can do what I darn well please. I'm not going to have a membership, but if I don't, I will be, understanding and say to the person, You know what? I I know exactly how you feel. I know, how you feel, and I will say, I've come to this wisdom, and this is what I will, say to the person. Like I will have empathy for them because I totally understand this. If you're against channel memberships, if you may be against my channel membership, if I would ever have a channel membership, then I would completely understand how you feel. Completely. And I've been there, so I know. Okay, I know how it feels like to reject other channels and for you to just simply install something on your channel. And I was the one to, get on somebody for, getting their business about what they want to do in their channel. Um, you know, And so I don't have to engage with what drains me. I don't have to engage with if I feel jealous or envious, if I can't be in a soul-centered place. If I'm going to give into the Scorpio emotions of like jealousy, of anger, of resentment, that I don't want to be in that place. I don't want to be viewing that person on stage playing that guitar, playing that beautiful song. I don't want to be seeing that person if I think that they're better than me or I don't want to be, if I feel, if I genuinely, feel like that, I don't want to, engage with that unless I feel that it's personally right to do. And I want to be open to others. I don't want to be closed off. And, but, that is to say, I won't get in their business about it and give them a hard time about it. How come you're this and how come, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And like getting nosy, being a detective, like why are you doing this? And you should be doing this. You're wrong. And any time where you're like, I want to change this person, I want to be in control of this person, I want to transform this other person. Stop it right there. Redirect the need to focus on others' psychological motivations and focus on your own, what. Focus on your own life. Redirect it. Redirect it. And focus on what is right and true for you. That's the wisdom that I have to give you as a Taurus North Node person who is really stepping into their North Node. I'm just kind of waiting in the wings for when I, get on my own and get my own place. Of course, I will have support in my life with those helping me, with things that will be for sure because I can't navigate this world on my own. I don't want to be thrown into the world because the North Node in Taurus isn't about being thrown into the world and expecting to do it all on your own. Taurus is a gradual sign. It is, where you feel like you could have a sense of self-worth about yourself with navigating the world. And I don't think that if you're scared or nervous or challenged or very, very, frustrated and overwhelmed, you're feeling a good sense of self-worth about yourself. Instead, you're feeling scared and not knowing how to navigate the world and alone. Like, you don't want to feel that way. And the North End and Taurus is about like you're all alone, you have to do it all yourself. Like that's not that placement. And anyone who says that, I just think that's not the most accurate picture. I think it goes back to self-worth. That's what it really is about. The Taurus North Node is about self-worth first and foremost. That comes from taking your time, focusing on the senses, focusing on all this stuff. It all goes back to self-worth. So that is, really what I want to say about, over concern with other people's business. And I want to encourage you, before you get in other people's business about what they want to do in their own lives, their choices, focus on your own business. It's not your business. It's not your concern. Focus on your own business. Get out of other people's stuff. Focus on what you want to build, what's true for you. You don't have to project this belief onto others. You don't have to force and impose things onto others. You don't have to be in control of others. You can, your actions speak louder than your words. You can have these beliefs, have these, ways of going about your life and embody them on your own terms with you living that out, with you not controlling others and expecting others to live that out. You are doing it. You're the one doing it and allowing others to do whatever the heck that they want to do, whatever feels right for them in their soul, and that's really what I want to say to this. So anyway, thank you for hearing my spiel on over concern with other people's business. I will be back for another episode of the Real Me podcast sometime other. And thank you for tuning in, and I will see you back another time. I don't think I'll be making any videos on my channel tomorrow because of a medical thing that my family has an appointment. So I may not be posting on this channel tomorrow, or I may, just depends, but I will definitely most certainly not be posting on my Cosmic Sky podcast. Until next time, take good care. This is Ever recording saying bye for now. See you next time.